except for a few 501c3 openly run by FEMA clergy response teams.
Mm-hmm. People just don't understand what's being done to them. And, thank goodness for your program, because in a handful like it, the public would never know. I mean, you heard the speeches that were being made, how this was going to be so wonderful. And we know it's nothing but a terrible lie.
Yeah, all we hear is, oh, we're going to have a depression if you don't give us unlimited money in October, and then things get worse, and they won't say where the money went. And then, oh, pass the banker takeover bill completely, or everything will fall apart. Or, oh, don't worry, the economy's going to be revived. We're going to put a giant tax on everything and selectively decide who can have businesses and federally fund Al Gore's new car company, and you'll pay your carbon taxes to a consortium run by Al Gore. I mean, they know this is going to shut things down, but when you watch CNN and everything else, they're saying help is on the way. This will rescue the economy. So the average yuppie out there thinks this is a stimulus package, this greenhouse gas tax. I mean, my God, Bob, this is talk about false packaging.
Well, it is false packaging, and you get the diversions that you talk about that they play up, the deaths of 3 celebrities, one of whom I knew fairly well. And it's so complicated for most people. If we weren't able to come on the air and simply describe what's going on, they wouldn't understand at all.
Hey, separately,
I bet you 75% of Americans, maybe as much as 90%, have never heard of cap and trade.
Well, they're going to find out, aren't they, Bob?
Unfortunately, yes. I don't know what people are going to do as they lose their jobs. They'll lose their homes. They'll lose their vehicles. They'll become street people. They'll end up in internment camps. And you talked about eugenics, which I studied very deeply. I had a library going back into the early 1800s, which I gave away to UCLA and USC some years ago because I was the only one who wanted to read this stuff. And that's when eugenics were, in modern times, really born during the 1800s. And it is their goal to decide who is going to get married, who is going to be allowed to breed, how many children you can have, and then they will be tested to see what vocations that they will follow. And they will be put in appropriate government-run schools to do that. And the husband may work in New York, and the wife may work in Los Angeles, and the children may go to school in Illinois in a government school.
The only way government... Go ahead.
They'll get together once a year for breeding purposes if they're allowed to.
And this is all stated on record. And for those that don't know, I've heard NPR, National Petroleum Radio, many times. That's a joke. It's National Public Radio, but it's funded by the foundations posing as liberals. I've listened to eugenics radio, and they brag over the years. My wife, because it is, better than a lot of talk radio, at least it's smooth and has a news background, so she listens to it while she cooks dinner every night for now 8 years. And, I hear him every week or two bragging, oh, this globalization will teach us not to live so well and not be so greedy, and it will humble us. And they snicker and laugh. Even the minions of this are like priesthood acolytes who enjoy the destruction of the republic, because the only way the parasites can run everything is to bring it down and bankrupt everybody. And they know that they'll be in power in the new controlled paradigm, and they'll get the women, and they'll get the houses, and they'll get the new wealth. It's a system for criminal, parasite, chicken neck, power-tripping scum.
And that's exactly what it's been. And civilizations have tried this over and over again. And some partially successful, but overall almost totally unsuccessful. And so this is big for them. And we've got to stop them. And we've got to try that in the House and in the Senate. And if it doesn't work, then we're going to have no alternative. And there's going to be so many people unemployed. We're looking at 20.4% right now. John Williams has it at 20.8%, and we're looking easily a year and a half to two from now at 35%. This is all part of this syndrome that's being deliberately created, although I know they are concerned about it getting out of control because they fear it might and might be in the process of doing so. The public is catching on because of your program and others as well. And I think the people are going to come to a realization that the only thing that they can do is overthrow the government. They're not going to have any choice.
But, Bob, next we make this point. That's why Northcom's set up. That's why we know it's premeditated, not just their own documents, but all of what they've developed. They've got the youth brigades. They're saying the FEMA centers, as we predicted, will be your job centers, but you will be locked up at night because we can't have crime. And people will be begging to be let into these. They set up an economic implosion they design to force you into their arms. Then only the government stipend, only the government national ID with your credits can pay you. And then the government, you can only use those cards at certain government-approved facilities, which are also owned by the private people that own the government and run the government. So they make the profits off of vertically integrating our economy and converting it from a free market laissez-faire mega engine of liberty and wealth into a control freak amalgamation of kind of a Soviet/fascist model with a fascist corporate combine sitting on top of the drive shaft, down into the suboid mass. And it's just all integrated. The whole society is being integrated into their controlled paradigm, and they brainwash the general public to go along with this, and then they'll pose in the next phase as, oh, look, we got to have a total government takeover because it'll provide the jobs now. And it's just, and then they're going to use class warfare envy with a giant mass of blue collar and yuppies that lost their money. The yuppies will then go join more devilish corps of enforcers to be able to get their wealth back. They'll now murk as social workers and everything else to really squeeze us. It's going to just completely blow up and be a giant bloodbath. I mean, look, people aren't going to put up with it. None of us who are real men and have actually seen a little bit of violence want this, believe me, but we cannot have chicken necks urinating all over our backs.
Well, I'll tell you this. If these people, if it comes to that, if these people think they're going to get away, they're mistaken. They are not going to get away. So this is going to be a fight to the very end. And we may lose half the population in the world. It could be involved even with nuclear war. But it's going to happen.
But, so many times with a bully or a control freak or a thug, they think they're going to win. They got hubris until you finally start swinging back and don't stop. And they're just going to go ahead and push it right over the edge. It's just unbelievable, Bob.
Well, you're right about that. They are going for all the marbles. And they're not going to get them, but we're going to have to pay a heck of a price to keep a semblance of freedom and perhaps total freedom after that. But it's not going to be good. What is this exercise they're having in July in the United States with foreign troops? Of course, we've had foreign troops here for many years, and they even have bases here in the United States. But they're having those maneuvers, and that's just a prelude to bringing foreign troops in. And, of course, that's a two-edged sword. Let's say Argentina decides to send 100,000 troops in to help the U.S. government quell the wild beasts that inhabit the country. And once those people are on planes traveling to the United States, the government in Argentina is going to get overthrown. I mean, they don't get it. They're not going to be able to win that battle.
Well, for those that don't know...
Listen, any foreign troop that comes in the United States, they are toast. I mean, they will be the number one target, just for the heck of it.